Over this series of videos, I'll be breaking down what I consider to be the 5 best and the 5 worst episodes from each season of Star Trek The Next Generation. For a more detailed breakdown of every single episode, you can check out my podcast linked in the video description below. Season 3 is a serious contender for the title of the best season of Star Trek The Next Generation. A fresh writing staff centered around a new showrunner managed to help a turbulent show find its footing. The writer's room new motto became characters first, and it helped the show reach new heights. That said, let's take a look at the 5 best episodes from the 3rd season of TNG. Number 5, The Defector.
The number of troops under your admiral's command.
Irrelevant! Irrelevant!
In this episode, a Romulan defector demands asylum aboard the Enterprise with the vital information about a possible Romulan invasion. The Defector is a nice example of the newfound depth of the show. A Romulan officer is forced to take the lesser of two evils by aiding the Federation, even if it means his own exile from the Empire, and the crew are understandably hesitant to believe him. When it's revealed that Admiral Jarok has been tricked by the Romulan Empire in order to test his loyalties, the Admiral commits suicide. It's an unfortunate end for an honorable character, but it serves to strengthen the politics of the 24th century and provide some excellent shading to the schism between institutions and individuals. Number 4, The Survivors.
Good tea. Nice house.
In this episode, the Enterprise reaches a Federation colony where all but 2 of the 11,000 inhabitants have been killed by a mysterious attacker. The mystery of Kevin and Rashawn is an excellent one, slowly revealed over the course of the episode. The ultimate reveal is that Kevin is a pacifist Dowd, an immortal alien who refused to fight alongside his wife and the other colonists who defended themselves against the invading Husnak. When his wife is killed, Kevin loses control and destroys the entire Husnak civilization. A wonderfully acted episode, The Survivors features a tremendous final scene where Kevin admits his crimes, and Picard is forced to acknowledge that humanity cannot serve as his judge. It's a much more mature narrative than we've seen in previous seasons. Number 3, Sarek.
It is wrong. It is wrong! A lifetime of discipline washed away, and in its place...
In this episode, Ambassador Sarek, the father of Spock, is ferried by the Enterprise on his final mission for the Federation. When an elderly Sarek is confronted with his own limitations on the eve of his greatest accomplishment, Picard offers himself to the Ambassador as a means of support. The slow burn of this episode is something that would only be possible at this point in the show's development. The sci-fi backdrop of Sarek's emotions affecting the crew only kills time until we get to the mind meld between Sarek and Picard. Patrick Stewart gets to deliver his best performance so far as he plays a man forced to endure the repressed fears and angers of an entire lifetime. Sarek is one of the most heart-wrenching episodes of TNG. Expertly written and amazingly acted, it's an episode that sometimes feels passed over as one of TNG's best, and I think that's a shame. Number 2, The Best of Both Worlds, Part 1.
Magnify. Mr. Worf, dispatch a subspace message to Admiral Hansen. We have engaged the Borg.
In this episode, the Enterprise must battle the Borg, who have captured and assimilated Captain Picard to have him serve as their emissary. It's stating the obvious to say that Best of Both Worlds is a turning point in the show's history. The kidnapping and metaphorical rape of Captain Picard is a huge departure from anything that the show had previously conceived. It's a storyline of huge implications, and it's done at the hands of TNG's greatest creation, the Borg. The Borg, Picard's assimilation, and the sublime cliffhanger ending are never forgotten, but I sometimes think that Riker gets short-shrifted in this one. Ultimately, The Best of Both Worlds is showrunner Michael Pillar's Should I Stay or Should I Go story, told through the eyes of Commander Riker. It's real life brought into sci-fi drama, and it makes the show feel alive. It's a beautifully paced hour of television that is among Star Trek's finest. Number 1, Yesterday's Enterprise.
And I can't ask them to go back.
You've got to.
Guinan, they will die moments after they return. How can I ask them to sacrifice themselves based solely on your intuition?
In this episode, the crew of the USS Enterprise D must decide whether to send the time-traveling Enterprise C back through a temporal rift in order to prevent their own disastrous timeline from ever occurring. Season 3 is top-heavy with amazing episodes. Sarek, The Best of Both Worlds Part 1, and Yesterday's Enterprise are all possible contenders for fitting into the top 7 or 8 episodes the show ever did. So why does Yesterday's Enterprise get the top spot? It's nearly impossible to find a cleaner and more perfect episode of the show. Yesterday's Enterprise is a extremely tight time travel story that mulligans the death of Yar, fills in the historical blanks of a previously mentioned historical event, and provides the show with a chance to seriously manipulate the characters and set design. A dimly lit Enterprise filled with scowling officers. The Federation at the jaws of defeat in its war against the Klingon Empire. This was a future only narrowly avoided through the sacrifice of many lives. Yesterday's Enterprise is a lean, stylish, and philosophical episode. It's the best episode from the third season of Star Trek The Next Generation. Let me know in the comments below what you think the best episode from the third season is. It's a tough one. There's a lot of great episodes in this one. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.